Welcome to this deep dive. Today, we're really digging into something quite specific, but really vital for how our local communities run: statement processing for local and state municipalities.
Right. And we're focusing specifically on understanding the strengths of one company, Wolverine Solutions Group. We're drawing this from information provided by the company itself, looking at their experience.
Exactly. They're based in the Midwest, known as a leader in print and mail, especially, in regulated areas like property tax and utility billing.
And that Midwest location is actually pretty strategic. They
Yeah.
mentioned getting mail across the country in, 3 to 4 days, which is fast for time-sensitive stuff like tax bills.
Good point. And they also have a second site for disaster recovery.
Yeah, a secondary facility, which I think says a lot about their commitment to keeping things running no matter what. That's crucial for public services.
Okay, so our mission here is to pull out the key things, the core strengths that Wolverine Solutions Group brings to the table for municipalities. What makes them stand out?
Well, let's start with just the sheer length of time they've been doing this.
It's significant, isn't it? We're not talking a couple of years.
No, definitely not. The sources keep mentioning decades of hands-on experience. Decades. Specifically working with local governments, utility companies.
And that experience translates into more than just knowing how to print and mail, I assume.
Oh, absolutely. It means they really get the public sector. They understand the complex regulations, the compliance rules, and just how critical it is to communicate accurately and on time with residents.
So they've likely seen it all, work through various challenges over the years.
You'd think so. A newer player might still be learning the ropes, but Wolverine Solutions Group has presumably navigated countless specific scenarios. It's baked into their approach.
Okay, so it sounds like they go deeper than just taking an order. How does that work in practice?
Well, they stress that it all starts with really in-depth talks. They're not just asking, how many pieces. They want to understand the client's goals, their specific compliance needs, which can vary a lot, right? Even the tone they want to use.
Right. So they tailor it.
Exactly. Based on that understanding, they design custom communication workflows. Think about it, a standard bill versus, say, a foreclosure notice. Very different needs for security, clarity, compliance.
So a city isn't just buying envelopes and stamps. They're getting a process built around their specific brand, their rules.
Precisely. Tailored to their brand, their tone, and critically, their legal obligations. And what's also important is they don't just set it and forget it. They're constantly watching regulations, data security trends, new tech.
Proactive then, not just reactive.
That's the idea. It positions them less like a vendor and more like a strategic partner, integrating into the municipality's overall communication plan.
That makes sense. Now, switching a partner for something like tax bills must feel like a pretty big step for a municipality. It feels risky.
It is a big deal. These are sensitive documents, essential services. So addressing that transition concern is key.
How do they handle that onboarding then?
They describe it as a proven end-to-end process built for this specific sector. It starts with what they call a comprehensive discovery phase.
Okay, what does that involve?
It's a deep dive, basically. Understanding the client's goals, regulations, existing workflows, data formats, IT setup, really getting the lay of the land before making any changes.
So, thorough groundwork first.
Right. And after that, they build a detailed implementation plan. Timelines, resources, system integration steps, even risk mitigation planning for what could go wrong.
And who manages all that?
They use dedicated project managers. So the client has one main point of contact, which helps keep communication clear throughout the whole switch.
That communication piece must be reassuring. What about the technical side, linking up systems?
That's a major part, yeah. Working with the client's IT folks, setting up secure connections, and then lots of testing. Testing data transfer, testing the print file outputs, making sure everything works seamlessly.
And does the client team get any tools to see what's happening?
Yes, that's crucial. They provide training on client-facing dashboards. These dashboards give the client's team real-time visibility. They can see job status, basically from data receipt right through to the mail drop.
Ah, so direct oversight for the municipality.
Exactly, operational oversight. And they also mentioned this whole process is flexible, scalable. It has to be, right? The needs of a small town versus a large state agency are pretty different.
Definitely. Okay, let's shift gears to something absolutely critical. Data security. We're talking sensitive personal and financial info here.
Non-negotiable, absolutely. Public trust, legal requirements, it's paramount. And the key thing highlighted in the sources is their focus on SOC2. That's SOC2, pronounced SOC 2.
Right, SOC2. What does that certification actually mean for a potential client?
So SOC2 provides independent proof of how they handle data based on 5 trust principles: security, availability, processing integrity, confidentiality, and privacy. Getting certified means they have solid controls in place for all of those. It's rigorous.
And it's not just a one-off check.
No, it involves ongoing independent audits. It shows a continuous commitment. For a municipality, it's a big assurance that their residents' data is being handled properly and securely.
How do they translate that certification into day-to-day practice? What does the security actually look like?
They talk about a multi-layered security framework. So that includes physical security at their buildings, strict access controls who can see what, basically encrypting data when it's sent, constantly monitoring their network using advanced cybersecurity tools.
Sounds comprehensive.
And they don't just rely on their own checks. They do regular internal assessments and bring in third-party auditors to test everything. It helps them adapt to new threats and changing rules.
And they share this information with clients.
Yes, that transparency seems key. They provide access to their annual SOC2 audit reports. That builds trust, and it also gives the municipalities the documentation they might need for their own compliance checks.
Okay, that covers security. What about when things go wrong? Power outages, storms, disruptions happen, disaster recovery.
Right. And in this sector, a disruption isn't just inconvenient. It can mean missed deadlines, compliance issues, damage to public trust. So business continuity is treated as a cornerstone of their setup.
A cornerstone, so fundamental. What does that look like technically?
They use advanced virtualization technology. Essentially, it allows them to replicate their entire system. If their main site goes down, they can activate this copy at their second disaster recovery facility.
And how quickly can they switch over?
They cite a 4-hour window to be fully operational again, which is pretty fast and aims to minimize any interruption to those essential mailings.
4 hours is impressive. Do they practice this?
Yes, they emphasize a rigorous testing and validation schedule, regular disaster simulations, system failover tests. It's about making sure the plan works and the team is ready.
And keeping clients in the loop if something does happen.
Absolutely. Clear communication plans are part of it.
Yeah.
Keeping clients informed during an incident, providing support transparency again.
Makes sense. Let's talk about the everyday promises: reliability, speed, SLAs, service level agreements.
Crucial. Timeliness is everything here for compliance, for resident satisfaction. So they offer robust, contractually defined SLAs. These aren't just goals, they're commitments written into the contract.
Setting clear expectations from file receipt to mail drop.
Exactly, every stage. And they back this up with state-of-the-art production facilities. High-speed, high-volume equipment, lots of automation, intelligent document processing, real-time tracking.
Yeah.
It's all designed for speed and efficiency without sacrificing quality.
Can they handle busy periods, like when property tax bills all go out at once?
They specifically mention being able to handle those volume spikes without letting turnaround times slip. That scalability is built in.
And do clients get to see how they're actually performing against these SLAs?
Yes, performance reporting is part of the deal. Regular reports showing processing times, mail drop confirmations, error rates. It's measurable and transparent. Plus, they talk about continuous improvement initiatives, always looking for ways to be more efficient.
Okay, speed is one thing, but accuracy, that has to be perfect, right? Errors on tax bills or utility statements are a huge problem.
You hit the nail on the head. Accuracy is described as paramount. No room for error, really. Regulatory pressure, public expectation, it has to be right.
So how do they build that accuracy into the process?
It starts right at the beginning with meticulous data validation, automated checks to catch errors in the data files they receive. Then they use sophisticated document composition systems designed for clarity and compliance, including generating proofs for review.
And tracking everything.
A detailed audit trail for every single mailing. Plus, a dedicated QA team quality assurance doing regular checks throughout production. If something is flagged, there are quick corrective actions. It's about preventing errors at every step.
Got it. Now, how does a municipality keep tabs on all this, the reporting and tracking capabilities?
This seems pretty advanced. They offer state-of-the-art reporting and tracking, giving clients real-time visibility. It's all through a centralized, user-friendly platform or dashboard.
What kind of information can they see there?
Things like job status, where things are in the process, key milestones hit, delivery confirmations eventually, and how performance stacks up against those SLAs we talked about. It puts control in the client's hands.
So more than just knowing a job shipped out, can they track individual pieces?
Yes, they use the USPS Intelligent Mail Barcode, the IMB tracking. That gives very granular tracking for each piece of mail. Plus, internal scans add to that end-to-end visibility.
And logs for everything.
Detailed audit logs, error reporting. It documents every transaction and flags issues. This data isn't just for managing day-to-day stuff. It helps with strategic planning, improving workflows.
We talked about SOC2 quite a bit. Are there other key certifications municipalities look for?
Well, SOC2 Type 2 is really the big one they emphasize because it's so comprehensive and requires those ongoing, rigorous third-party audits across security, availability, processing integrity, confidentiality, and privacy.
So that type 2 aspect means it's not just a snapshot in time, but reviewed over a period.
Exactly. It assesses controls over time. They also mention having an in-house compliance and risk management team actively monitoring regulations to stay ahead. And again, they're transparent, providing access to audit summaries and certificates.
Okay. What about actually proving something got delivered for legal reasons or just customer service?
Super important. So they use a mix of tracking tech, that USPS IMB we mentioned, but also things like certified mail or return receipt services when needed for that extra level of proof.
And digital options.
Yeah, integrating digital delivery confirmations too. Email, online portals, electronic receipts, word that makes sense. All that data, physical and digital, flows into that client dashboard for a complete picture.
And reports summarizing all that tracking data.
Right. Customized reports showing delivery rates, how long mail took in transit, if they're meeting the SLAs for delivery tracking. It's comprehensive proof.
One last area. What about sudden surges? Big, unexpected mailings or emergencies, can they scale up quickly?
That's a critical capability in this sector. Things change fast sometimes. They highlight their scalable production infrastructure, the high-speed gear, the automated workflows designed specifically to handle big increases in volume without sacrificing quality or speed.
And for actual emergencies, like, say, a natural disaster requiring urgent communication.
They have comprehensive emergency communication protocols, preset workflows ready to go for fast proofing, approvals, and production. They even work with clients beforehand to create custom contingency plans for different scenarios.
What kind of scenarios?
Things like, natural disasters, maybe sudden financial relief programs needing announcements, data breach notifications, unexpected billing changes, things that require getting accurate info out fast.
And they provide support during those times.
Yeah, strategic advice, too, on messaging, compliance during the emergency, and those real-time dashboards become even more critical then, providing full transparency during a high-pressure situation.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. Pulling together everything we've discussed about Wolverine Solutions Group's strengths for municipalities.
It paints a pretty clear picture. You've got the deep, decades-long experience specifically in the public sector. That translates into a real understanding of their clients' world.
Right. Then there's the structured onboarding, minimizing disruption during a switch, a very strong, proactive focus on data security and compliance, backed by that SOC2 Type 2 certification.
Plus, the robust disaster recovery, that 4-hour window, is notable, and the business continuity planning. Clear contractual SLAs ensuring reliable turnaround times.
And a huge emphasis on accuracy and quality control throughout the process. Advanced reporting and tracking giving clients real visibility and control.
Which extends to comprehensive proof of mailing and delivery. And finally, that crucial ability to scale up for volume spikes or handle urgent emergency communications effectively.
It positions them, as you said earlier, less like just a vendor and more like a strategic partner focused on this specific niche.
Exactly. A leader in transactional mail, seemingly very dedicated to helping public entities operate efficiently and communicate effectively. Their strengths really seem grounded in that long-term focus on the municipal sector's unique demands.
It definitely underscores how important choosing the right partner is for these critical communications. It impacts efficiency, compliance, and that all-important public trust. Makes you think, doesn't it, about how vital that reliable back-end operation is for our local governments. Something for listeners in that sector to definitely consider against their own needs.